Hi guys, it's your faculty Ranganathan SPN Kondala. I'm back again with another video of current affairs for history prelims 2023 UPSC CSC. In my experience, I've been teaching at Khan Academy for quite a long time now, and I've been mentoring a number of students, particularly in their history topics. Now, in today's discussion for prelims 2023, we'll be discussing about we'll be going through some personalities, some of the personalities who've had a significant impact in Indian history and have sort of altered the path of Indian history over the period of time. Now, one of the personalities, this series of questions, I'm actually going to deal these series of topics now. It's personalities, and today's personality is Anasuya Sarabhai. Now, Sarabhai family has been in news a lot of late recently after the new web series released on the name of Vikram Sarabhai's Achievements of Life. Now, the Motaben from Ahmedabad, she's commonly called Motaben, as she was fondly known as. She was a pioneer of the labor movement in the country. She was pioneer of women's labor movement in the country. She was also one of the founders of ATLA, Ahmedabad the Textile Labor Association, the Mazdoor Mahajan Sangh. It's actually India's oldest textile workers union, established in 1920 in Kanyagruha, and in 1927 to educate girls of the mills. I mean, she's been associated with the Sarabhai family. Now, she's one of the Sarabhai members, one of the largest textile millers of Gujarat and Ahmedabad region. She was a very close friend and pupil or a student of Mahatma Gandhi, who considered her, I mean, she always used to call Mahatma Gandhi Puja Mahatma Gandhi, and it was Gandhi who made her the lifelong president of Mazdoor Mahajan Sangh. Now, Anasuya was born on the 11th of November 1885 into the Sarabhai family, a family of industrialists and businessmen in Ahmedabad region. Both her parents died when she was 9, and so her brother Ambalal Sarabhai and a younger sister were sent to live with an uncle. Ambalal Sarabhai was father of Vikram. Anasuya undertook an unsuccessful child marriage at the age of 13, which obviously was later annulled since it was unsuccessful. The marriage could never go through the path of its completion. Now, Anasuya, she went to England in 1912 to take a medical degree, but eventually she shifted to London School of Economics, where when she realized the animal dissection involved obtaining a medical degree was violation of her Jain beliefs. Very close. Sarabhais have been very close to Jain belief system, the followers of Jainism. In England, she was influenced by Fabian Society and even got involved in the suffragette movement. Suffragette is basically a movement which was going in England in those days in the early 1900s. It was a movement for right to vote, promoting the right to vote. Now, the Fabian Society was established by leading intellectuals of England towards the end of the 19th century London. The society, it was actually a socialist organization, and see, most of the Indian socialists eventually were Fabian socialists. It's called Fabianism. Even Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru was a Fabian socialist. The society was a socialist organization founded with the goal of establishing democratic socialist state in England. The socialists believed in equal distribution of resources and collective ownership of resources by the people. The same principles later sort of guided independent government in India's 1950s policy, and even India went on to the path of Fabian socialism eventually after independence, and some of India's greatest leaders, including Jawaharlal Nehru, were actually Fabian, influenced by Fabians. Now, for Anasuya, this Fabian socialism was a whole new way of thinking. See, she's actually coming from an upper class, capitalist, business oriented society, elite society of Ahmedabad. While in London, she walked through the streets unaccompanied, learned ballroom dancing, and even participated in the suffragette movement. Suffragette was the movement which was going in London in those days for the voting rights. There were women suffragette, there were class suffragette, and all that. The suffragette movement, established in late 19th century, basically worked in getting women in United Kingdom voting rights, and succeeded in getting complete parity, complete equal voting rights with the men in the year 1928. She reveled in the freedom she enjoyed in England, and which contrasted sharply to her experiences of India. See, in India, women sort of never really had that freedom to walk on the streets freely. So when she came back, she sort of wanted that to happen. Sarabhai returned to India in 1913 and started working for the upliftment of women, the betterment of women and the poor. So particularly along the mill workers. I mean, most of her family was into mill business, so she understood the exploitation of the workers, which can happen or which does happen in the mills very clearly. She also started a school. She decided to get involved in the labor movement after witnessing exhausting women, female mill workers returning home after a 36-hour shift. So she started to think about the worker rights. Anasuya returned to Ahmedabad in 1914, and which eventually, after her return to Ahmedabad, she changed her life pattern completely in pursuit of public welfare. Before getting involved herself in the labor movement, she already started working on improvement of lives of the people who worked in the mills owned by her family. She opened a school for the girl childs of the mill workers, even a crèche for children of the mill workers. These were sort of, you can say, while in those days you could call them luxuries, for according to Sarabhai Anasuya, it was actually minimal necessities which people had to have. Okay. And this Sarabhai Anasuya also came forward to offer her support in administration. Um, and She studied the prevailing labor practices and was devastated by what she found in those days. Plague was also another major headache. In 1914, I mean, if you see the 1914 standards, workers in Ahmedabad worked long hours. They lived in absolutely unhygienic conditions in the city's mills, some of which were in fact owned by her own family. And 1914 also saw very bad impact of plague. See, plague was a yearly disease which used to come during the rainy season and post monsoon season. There were, I mean, the plague impact was so bad that Anasuya eventually got involved with demanding worker rights, better plague bonus, etc. It is one of these plague bonus disputes is what led to Ahmedabad mill strike 1917 at a later point. Anasuya did get a lot of support and for the mill workers, and she gave a lot of support to the mill workers. While one may assume that Anasuya's privilege and social standing might have disconnected her from the people, in fact, being from the mill owner's family, she understood the problems of the mill workers more easily and more closely. She was ideally placed to communicate the anguish of the working class, but particularly for the class owners or the mill owners. Her involvement immediately drew attention of the public as well as those who control their lives, the mill workers. The mill owners initially sort of were against her, but they understood the plight. They understood the plight, and that's how she sort of started to become very close to Gandhi's ideas as well. One of the most significant contributions of Anasuya's works in India was her association with the creation of Ahmedabad Textile Mill Workers Association, which basically Ahmedabad Textile Mill Workers strike in 1918. Gandhi was involved in this. Many left the cities for their villages and to prevent more from fleeing the mill workers. I mean, the actual textile mill strike, or the Ahmedabad mill strike, happened at a point where textile mill owners were ready to give only a 20% sort of plague bonus to avoid the workers from leaving the city, whereas workers were demanding 70%. So it is in this dispute. The plague itself had ended by January 1918, but the cost of commodities, the inflation, cost of living was terribly impacted in Ahmedabad. Mill workers wanted a permanent raise in wages and an improvement in the working conditions, which Anasuya absolutely supported. She actually led them. While the workers demanded at least a 50% pay rise, the mill workers were ready to give it 20%. Eventually, Gandhi got involved. If you read Gandhi's history, Gandhi gets involved in this entire issue, and he promises he justifies a 35% rise, and Anasuya helped in negotiating this rise. Gandhi decided to go on indefinite strike. Anasuya, many workers were very close to Gandhi. It is actually the Ahmedabad mill strike which brought her into the mainstream and close to Gandhi, and very close to Gandhi. The protest had pitted Anasuya and Gandhi against Ambalal Sarabhai, Anasuya's brother. Actually, in fact, her ethics and her morals were so strong that she was in reality protesting against her brother Ambalal. who had supported Gandhi and Anasuya through the thick and thin. Ambalal Sarabhai was actually the head of Ahmedabad Mill Owners Association, whereas Anasuya started working as the head of the Mazdoor Sangh. Ambalal was very livid when he learned that Anasuya was leading the workers, but sort of Ambalal really did not have very good opinion about her leading the Mazdoor Sangh, but eventually things got settled. Her association, Mazdoor Mahajan Sangh, also commonly called the Textile Labor Association, eventually became more and more popular. It was this Ahmedabad mill strike which gave her sort of the name, Sabribe, the Motaben, a sign of affection as well as respect, and that looked at her to lead them to their struggles. Motaben basically means elder sister. Anasuya continued to be a labor leader all through her 30s. In fact, the famous noted Hindi writer Premchand ji, he wrote a script for a movie, for a film called The Mill Mazdoor, sort of based on Anasuya's struggles of life. It dealt with the right of workers and showed a brother and a sister pitted against each other, with the sister firmly standing on the workers' side, just like the story of the Sarabhais. Anasuya passed away in 1972, but her legacy lives even today. Seva, Self-Empowered Women's Association, established by Ela Bhatt in 1972, but in fact was very close to Anasuya. She was actually, you can say, the Pratik, the student of Anasuya. Mazdoor Mahajan Sangh, established by Anasuya Sarabhai, played a very vital role in establishing and maintaining harmonious relations between textile mill owners and workers. It also helped reduce violence and preserve communal harmony in 1969. It helped workers get fair wages, better working conditions. But during the last 3 decades, 30 years, during which most of the mills have shut, the union, you obviously, so look, the Ahmedabad mills itself have come down. So obviously, the Mill Workers Association is no longer that active. 2017 was actually dedicated to Anasuya Sarabhai. Google celebrated by giving a doodle for her, the iconic illustration on the Google homepage. Anasuya remains an inspiration for everyone, even in the present times. Look, she could have easily chosen a life of luxury, a life of comfort. She was from one of the leading families of Ahmedabad. Very rich, very popular. Instead, she understood the plight of her workers, sympathized with them, and actually worked for the betterment of life of the workers. Now that's something special about Anasuya Sarabhai. She remains an inspiration. She could see, if she wants, she could have had a life of absolute luxury. But she did play a very big role. Her legacy remains as strong as her name. Even today in Gujarati, she's called Motaben, basically means elder sister. Sarabhai died on 1st of November 1972. She mentored eventually Ela Bhatt, one of the founders, as I said. Ela Bhatt was Anasuya Sarabhai's student. Ela eventually established SEWA, Self-Empowered Women's Association of India, which is one of the largest women's associations in India. On the 11th of November 2017, Google even celebrated Sarabhai's 132nd birthday with a Google Doodle, clearly visible to the users in India. Anasuya was also the aunt of Vikram Sarabhai, Vikram Sarabhai is regarded as the father of Indian space program. If you remember, Sarabhai was the founder of INCOSPAR, International Committee for Space Research, and which eventually became ISRO. INCOSPAR is very important organization in India's space research, and Vikram Sarabhai played a big role. In spite of actually having differences with her brother Ambalal, Anasuya remained very close to her brother. Now that's speciality about her. Okay. Guys, Unacademy, just a quick update on Unacademy. Unacademy now is available even in offline mode. The beauty of Unacademy is, Unacademy subscriptions is you actually get the flexibility to change courses. Suppose you're doing a course at a time in the morning, 8 to 10, and suddenly something has come up to you and you want to change the time. You're free to do so. No need to ask anybody. You can choose your course yourself. You get that's the true meaning of democratization of education. Unlimited views and lectures, completely dedicated doubt solving sessions. You got live mentorships, one on one, end to end preparation. I mean, your all Unacademy subscriptions come with live classes, test series, materials, mentorship, test analysis, complete guidance. You start it here, you end it here till you succeed in your exam, along with printed comprehensive notes and daily answer writing sessions. Over, we've had more than 170 toppers in 2020 and more than 197 toppers in 2021. Now, you can subscribe to an Academy Plus. Just use the subscription code Srivenar, SRIVENR, and that will give you discount plus every feature available on Unacademy. Now, between 19th and 22nd of March, we're doing something substantially unique, an ultimate package for aspirants, some of the best educators of Unacademy. We're going to come through to bring you a series of sessions, academic sessions, strategy sessions, AMA sessions, previous year questions, MCQs. This is more or less like meet your educator sort of program. Economy, history, geography, polity, science and technology, IR, CSAT, current affairs, a series of special classes. All you need to do is go to Unacademy website, enroll in these classes. You can access all of these classes completely free using the code Srivenar, SRIVENR. Last but not the least, you want to realize your UPSC CSC dream? Don't worry. You can actually get Unacademy subscriptions now at 0% EMI. EMIs are as low as 4,364 per month. Contact 8585858585. You can always avail a loan at no cost EMI, very minimal paperwork, flexible tenures. Subscribe. You can always join using the code Srivenar, SRIVENR. So that's it in this session, guys. I'll see you in the next video on this very channel. Subscribe, click on the bell icon, follow me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.